Hello, and welcome to another episode of Castros. Today's story will take us to Kisii County, which is located in the western side of the Republic of Kenya. Now, the Kisii are Western Bantu speakers who are said to have taken their name from their founder and patriarch, Mr. Mugusi. They are known for their soapstone carving skills and farming of bananas and indigenous vegetables. Now, you'll realize that in this story, I will be using initials for both the victim and the perpetrators of the offense because the Kenya judicial system has strict policies in as far as disclosure of names for persons who are under the age of 18. So, with that, let's dive in today's story. It is here that on the night of 21st and 22nd January 2016, MOO and MM, a married couple, were engaged in a heated argument over an undisclosed domestic issue. Now, this was further exacerbated by the realization that MOO, the father of the house, was abusing his stepchild, who was still an infant. This disagreement escalated and MOO threatened to stab MM with a kitchen knife. Instinctively and in fear of her life, MM fled and sought refuge in her mother-in-law's kitchen, which was not so far from her matrimonial home. Now, though MM was able to cheat death, she made one fatal mistake which will forever change the course of her life. Now, you see, in the process of her escaping, she forgot to take her infant child with her, who was sleeping in an adjacent room. On the morning of 22nd January, MM, still in a daze and in a state of shock, slowly made her way back to her matrimonial house to check on the welfare of her infant child. On arriving, MM found her husband quietly seated in the living room, staring into outer space. MOO then, in a casual manner, proceeded to tell MM that the child was still in her bed but not breathing. With shock written all over herself, MM rushed to the child's bedroom and found that the infant was lying motionless and limp in bed. MM noticed that the infant was wearing different clothes from those that she had left her with the previous night. MMM unsuccessfully tried to wake up the child, and when she picked her from the bed, the child's neck went limp and her body slumped on her back. Upon further investigations, MM realized that the child was obviously deceased as her body was now cold to the touch. The 2.5-year-old had passed away. By now, her frantic screams had now woken up the sleepy village, and curious onlookers started flocking her compound. When the villagers learned of what had happened, they threatened to lynch the suspect, but by the time they thought of doing that, the police had already arrived and managed to control the angry mob that had gathered at the scene. The suspect was swiftly arrested and the child's remains were taken at the county's coroner's office for an autopsy to be conducted. Now, the autopsy results established that the deceased had multiple injuries. Further, the medical examiner confirmed that the deceased had multiple bruises on her face, hands, and scalp. The examination also revealed that the infant had been sexually abused. The cause of death was listed as asphyxiation due to strangulation. The manner of death, homicide. When the case was taken for hearing, The prosecution lined up 6 witnesses against the accused. The evidence was overwhelming, and the accused chose not to take the stand in her defense. It was established that the accused was angry with the infant because she was still waiting her bed. Now, in the end, the court ended up finding the accused guilty of all counts as was presented by the prosecution, and the accused was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. So that's going to do it, guys. Thank you very much for tuning into this episode of Castros. If you like such kind of stories, kindly consider subscribing and liking this video, as it really helps the channel grow. Until next time, have a good one and take care.